All Blacks great says Springboks have 150 test-ready players. The debate around rugby depth has once again taken center stage, and this time it comes from one of New Zealand's most respected voices. Former All Blacks star Murray Mexted has made a remarkable observation after watching the opening matches of the All Blacks tour of South Africa, claiming that the Springboks may have as many as 150 players capable of playing test rugby at the highest level. It is a statement that highlights just how far South African rugby has come under the leadership of Rassie Erasmus, and it also raises important questions about where the All Blacks currently stand as they continue building towards the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Over the past several years, South Africa have not only collected major trophies but have also created one of the deepest player pools in world rugby. What makes this achievement even more impressive is that the Springboks have managed to maintain elite performances while constantly rotating players. Instead of relying on the same group every week, Rassie Erasmus has consistently introduced new faces, tested combinations, and expanded the national talent pool. The result is a squad that appears stronger than ever, with experienced stars and emerging talents competing for places. Speaking about the situation, Murray Mexted praised the ambition behind South Africa's long-term strategy. According to him, the Springboks have spent years building a system that allows multiple players to step into international rugby without a significant drop in quality. In his view, South Africa's depth has reached a level that few nations can match. While his estimate of 150 test-ready players may spark debate among rugby fans, the point he was making was clear. The Springboks have created extraordinary competition for places, and that competition is driving standards higher across the entire rugby system. Meanwhile, the situation in New Zealand is quite different. The All Blacks are entering a new era under head coach Rennie, who has only recently begun working with his squad. Unlike Rassie Erasmus, who has spent years building structures and identifying talent, Rennie is still in the early stages of evaluating his player pool. That process is one of the main reasons why the All Blacks arrived in South Africa with a large training squad. The goal is not only to prepare for the upcoming test series against the Springboks but also to discover which players can perform under pressure at the highest level. South Africa provides the perfect testing ground. The physical intensity, passionate crowds, and demanding conditions make every match a valuable learning experience. The All Blacks have already seen different sides of that challenge during their tour. In their opening match, a largely second-string New Zealand side faced the Stormers and experienced a difficult contest before eventually pulling away late to secure victory. It was a performance that revealed both potential and areas for improvement. Their second outing against the Sharks was much more convincing, as several senior players returned and helped guide the team to a dominant result. However, the biggest test may still be ahead. The upcoming clash against the Bulls in Pretoria presents a unique challenge because of the altitude. Playing on the high veld is something that even experienced international players must adjust to. The thinner air affects fitness levels, recovery, and overall game management. According to Murray Mexted, altitude has a way of exposing players and revealing who is truly capable of performing in demanding conditions. He believes this match will offer valuable insight into the depth of the current All Black squad. Players who thrive under these circumstances could strengthen their claims for future selection, while others may find the step up more difficult. Interestingly, discussions around the tour have also touched on playing styles and match tempo. South African rugby teams have sometimes been criticized for slowing games down through scrums and lineouts, but Murray Mexted suggested that the All Blacks themselves may need to manage the pace carefully when they reach Pretoria. The physical demands of altitude can quickly drain energy, making game management more important than ever. It is another example of how South Africa continues to challenge visiting teams in ways that go beyond simple talent comparisons. Yet perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this story is what it reveals about player development. Rugby history is filled with examples of athletes who seized unexpected opportunities and transformed their careers. Dave Rennie and his coaching staff are hoping this tour will help identify the next generation of All Black stars. One player who has already impressed observers is Luke Jacobson. Before recent matches, many viewed him as a player on the edge of selection, someone competing for a squad place rather than a guaranteed starter. However, his performances have changed perceptions. By taking his opportunities and delivering under pressure, he has demonstrated exactly why depth-building tours are so important. Players often discover new levels when they are placed in challenging environments, and Luke Jacobson appears to be doing just that. His rise serves as a reminder that rugby careers can change very quickly when players are given the chance to prove themselves. For New Zealand, that is one of the major objectives of this South African tour. While winning matches is always important, developing future internationals may ultimately prove just as valuable. The All Blacks know that long-term success depends on creating competition for places and ensuring there is a steady flow of talent ready to step into the national team. South Africa's current position is evidence of what can happen when that process is sustained over many years. The Springboks have built a culture where opportunities are shared across a wide group of players, allowing the national side to remain competitive even when injuries occur or selections change. Looking ahead, the rivalry between the Springboks and the All Blacks remains one of the most compelling stories in world sport. Both nations have rich histories, passionate supporters, and ambitions of lifting another Rugby World Cup. However, the paths they are taking appear slightly different right now. South Africa are benefiting from years of planning and squad development under Rassie Erasmus, while New Zealand are still shaping the next phase of their journey under Dave Rennie. That contrast makes every meeting between the two teams even more intriguing. As the All Blacks continue their South African tour, attention will remain focused on which players can step forward and prove they belong at test level. At the same time, the Springboks will continue demonstrating the depth that has become one of their greatest strengths. Whether or not South Africa truly have 150 test-ready players is a matter of opinion, but the broader message from Murray Mexted is difficult to ignore. The Springboks have created an extraordinary talent pipeline, one that many rugby nations would love to replicate. For the All Blacks, the challenge is clear. They must continue identifying new talent, building depth, and preparing for the future if they want to match the standards being set by their greatest rivals. With the road to the 2027